Coming up on News Live at 6, how local Cray residents are voicing their concerns about the future environmental impact of the Micron project.
Plus, Syracusans are growing concerned amid rumors of the multi-million-dollar aquarium project scaling down.
And what the Student Association is doing to improve textbook affordability. Citrus TV News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
Hello and welcome into News Live at 6. I'm Olivia Maniscalco.
And I'm John Perik. New information now as a legal settlement allows for a student apartment project to move forward at Syracuse's historic Temple Concord. The owners of the Sherbrooke Apartments near the synagogue withdrew a lawsuit to stop the project back in January.
While the terms of the settlement were not disclosed, the congregation's president expects the sale of the synagogue to go through. This means that Temple Concord will be required to leave the synagogue where it has worshipped since 1911. The original portion of the synagogue will be preserved, but additions to the building will be demolished to make way for the new housing. The Syracuse Grad Employees Student Union has reached a tentative contract with SU. According to their Instagram page, their first contract will include a median 24% stipend increase for next year, 80% subsidized health insurance, and 100% subsidized preventative dental care. There's an info session scheduled for this Friday at 5:30 p.m. inside HBC's auditorium, and voting is set to take place next Monday and Tuesday.
And today, enrollment times for fall registration are now out. Students can view their registration times by visiting MySlice. Registration for rising seniors begins April 4th, followed by juniors on April 8th, and then sophomores on April 9th. And students can also start adding classes for the fall through the shopping carts function on MySlice today. And, well, the snow's back.
Yep, the snow's back. Apparently last week while we were on spring break, it was high 60s, but we came back into snowing, obviously.
I know, right? It's spring break. I was in Miami enjoying the sun, and then you walk off the plane and boom, you get hit by that cold air. And Kaitlin, Campbell, I hear that there's more snow on the horizon?
John, Olivia, yeah, that's right. I mean, I wish I was back here and I was getting those spring temperatures, but clearly that's not the case. I mean, you saw more snowfall earlier this morning, but that's not the end of it. We're seeing a little bit here, but right now it's currently 38 degrees. We're seeing some 11-mile-per-hour winds, and that kind of low to high 30s will continue into tonight, where it'll be 38 degrees tonight as well, but we'll feel like 32 degrees. Now, if we look around the region into Cortland, Rome, Fulton, we're all seeing about the same temperatures all around, those mid to high level 30s, and everywhere is getting that snow. So it's not just us, at least, but we're here back in Syracuse after spring break. It's supposed to be the spring semester, and here we are like it's December. That's all I have for right now. Guys, back to you.
Kaitlin, thank you. I mean, at least it is 6 p.m. and it's still sunny outside. Well, sunny, cloudy, daylight, same thing. Well, as the process to bring Micron to Central New York continues, tonight's meeting at Clay's Town Hall looks to examine the environmental impact of the proposed factory. Citrus TV reporter Tyler O'Donnell joins us live from the town of Clay tonight. Tyler, what are some of the impacts of tonight's meeting?
Thank you so much, Olivia. The impacts of this meeting are going to be pretty big. Micron wants to have federal funding, and in order to get that, they need to have an environmental study done by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And the first step of that is to hold a scope meeting. Now, a scope meeting requires a lot of things, but the first thing is to have a, the first thing is to take stock of what the people around the local area consider are environmental issues. Things like wetland preservation, species of animals that are only found here, and a lot of other things that they're discussing in tonight. So in little under an hour, there's going to be a meeting going underway to discuss a lot of these concerns, and once those concerns are discussed, they're going to go right towards the Army Corps of Engineers when they draft their environmental proposal. Now, in order for Micron to get their funding, they need to pass this environmental proposal once it's actually formulated later tonight. If you look on your screen right now, if you're curious on how to participate in yourself, there's a couple things you can do. You can go to the actual meeting right here behind me, or you can email the email on your screen with all the information regarding your concerns or any other questions that you may have regarding the environmental impacts. And once that's done, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers will write up a proposal in which they will help determine the amount of funding Micron gets and the types of alterations they may have to make to their plan. And Citrus TV will continue to cover this event as it happens tonight, and we'll have more for you tomorrow on News Live at 6 regarding what concerns are raised. Guys?
Great coverage tonight. Now, Syracuse residents are voicing their concerns over a 3-year-long, $85 million project to build an aquarium in the city. Our Michael Lamort has more on how locals are getting vocal.
With rumors of the near $100 million aquarium project having to scale down due to high construction costs, Syracuse natives are getting concerned.
I mean, in a city like we from, it's pointless.
There's a lot of stuff that they need to get together. I feel like that they're really worried about the wrong thing right now.
Many locals feel that the excess funds should be used towards improving the city's infrastructure, healthcare, or education systems, but the county exec's office is saying today that building the aquarium was not a this over that type of decision.
In addition to this, we've also increased our investments in our human services world and our physical services world, and we're able to do more of everything.
Sales says the $85 million comes from a surplus of taxpayer dollars and that there is a strict protocol on how to use these excess funds.
The county executive's approach when it comes to that is you don't use one-shot funds to invest in programs or projects that will have reoccurring expenses. You invest those in things that will provide continued revenue.
But with multiple news outlets reporting that the project will have to scale back due to high construction costs, many Syracuse residents are still concerned. But the county executive office is saying that these projects haven't entered its construction phases yet and that these rumors are not true.
I think people maybe, because of national news stories and headlines, make assumptions that, oh, you must be spending either more money or maybe you're doing a smaller version, when in reality, we still provide the aquarium that was promised at the budget that was promised.
The aquarium is expecting to open its doors in fall of 2025. In Syracuse, Mike Lamort, Citrus TV News.
Michael, thank you. Now we have new information in the case of the death of a Nedro man. At a press conference today, the Onondaga County Sheriff's Office saying now 4 people are in custody for the alleged murder. The incident happened last Tuesday when officers were sent to a home on West Conklin Avenue and Nedro for a status check. On arrival, sheriffs found a 61-year-old man dead on his floor. The Sheriff's Office has since charged a 17-year-old and a 28-year-old Isaiah Smith with murder.
Coming up after the break, new classes mean new textbooks. Our Elijah Brown has more on what the Student Association is doing to improve textbook affordability.
Plus, the Supreme Court's decision regarding a Texas immigration law. News Live at 6 is just getting started.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner! Go?
Excellent. Soccer is fun. Yeah, I saw you guys out there. We're the family.
Yeah!
Oh, I thought you were on my team.
You're watching Citrus TV News live at 6 with John Perik, Olivia Maniscalco, and Kaitlin Campbell. Now, your campus news leader continues.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. Now, big day today. Syracuse University's housing portal opened. Our Matt Lesnick is in studio with a breakdown. Matt, good evening.
That's right. Good evening, Olivia. It's that time of year. The housing portal opened today, meaning select students were able to get started on the process. However, it's a stressful one, and that leaves some concern for some students.
It's basically off a lottery, and if I don't get that, we don't know what we're going to do.
Madeline Earhart has a similar tone regarding housing as many first-year students. She is a freshman and wants a 4-person suite in Watson, but wants to stick with someone specific and worries she might not be able to.
Me and my sister, because we want to stay together, I room with my sister. And first of all, we had to find people for the quad. That was kind of stressful, but then actually getting the quad with our new plan is kind of stressful.
The process is stressful for students and has the potential to go wrong fast, like it did last spring for Harris Goldstein. After his plans fell through, he was left by himself with a time on the final day and no one to room with.
There was nothing, not even on South Campus. There was nothing.
He eventually ended up with a single in Haven Hall, but that was after a lengthy process that ended during finals week. He has a suggestion on how to potentially improve the process.
For more than half the year, there were multiple rooms on my floor that have been open. Maybe they could open up the room selections a little more, but outside of that, I don't really know if there's a really good and fair way to do this for all students.
Taking a look at some key dates next year, or this week, the housing portal opens up for everyone today, but can only be used by LLC students. As they are able to get their housing appointments today, everyone else gets assigned theirs on Friday. Along with this, they're able to pick their roommates today, and tomorrow they can pick their housing. Though for everyone else, they get to pick their housing that they are allowed to next Monday, and that continues throughout the week. Housing selection then ends on March 29th. And looking at some key changes for the dorms next year, Marion and Kimmel Hall are being demolished, so they will not be available to students. However, 727 Cross Avenue, also known as the Marshall, will be available to second-year students, and that features 2 studio apartments, 2-bedroom apartments, and 4-bedroom apartments. Finally, 801 University Avenue, formerly known as the Sheraton, will be available to second-year students and will feature large open doubles with bathrooms and triples with bathrooms. That's all I have right now, but John and Olivia, back to you.
Thanks, Matt. Feels nice to be a senior right now and not have to go through that process. Well, the Student Association has introduced a bill to tackle high textbook prices.
Our Student Association beat reporter spoke with student Nicole Gutierrez on the pressing issue.
Like $100, but it was on sale for $76.
During the start of each semester, Nicole has some tough decisions to make on how she plans to spend her money.
I would use that refund for things I need, like pads, food, toothbrush, toothpaste, things like that. And my concern wasn't like a book.
Over the last 4 years, she's found herself torn between 2 unlikely choices: purchasing textbooks for her classes or meeting personal needs back at home.
I had to buy clothing, toiletries to keep in my room, snacks, just everyday essentials.
Essentials that make it even harder during textbook season, a time when Nicole says costs her nearly $250,000 each semester.
That would be like $300, or $200, $300, and that's for 4 years. That's a lot of money for someone who's just using the book for 1 semester.
And that may not seem like much, but a report from the Education Department says otherwise. 44% of low-income students come from a family making less than $30,000 a year, meaning a full schedule of 5 3-credit classes, each accompanied with $70 textbooks, could accumulate to $700 a year. That's $700 less for students like Nicole.
I didn't have no money saved aside for me. I came from a very low-income background, so I did not have no savings, no nothing.
A similar testimony echoes through the halls of Syracuse University, where students have to assess the cost of their books with the likelihood of them actually being used.
I think they're really overpriced, and then you don't even use them that many times in class.
Some of my professors are able to give us PDF versions, and then others choose not to.
I wish it was free. I wish it was cheaper. I don't really look at the price. I kind of just bite the bullet,
Students have long grappled with the challenge of securing affordable textbooks. They've even found some websites that provide free ebooks at the click of a button. And despite some of these resources, we took a look at why universities aren't stepping in to help. A newsletter says that publishers make 85% of their textbooks unavailable to libraries in any other form than print. A big reason why the Student Association proposed a bill that forces teachers, rather than publishers, to limit these costs.
Wherever they are in their lives on campus, the Student Association is there to help.
A helping hand that the university's Dean of Library thinks will bring an impactful amount of change.
I think professors are going to be very responsive to this. We see this problem in our classrooms. If we're parents with students of our own, we certainly see it as I did with my 3 children. So I think you'll find the faculty are very receptive.
To continue following updates on the future of some of these changes, pay close attention to our Twitter feed. Elijah Brown, CitrusTV News.
The Supreme Court has temporarily sided with Texas to enforce a new immigration law. The state law allows state officials to arrest and detain people they suspect of entering the country illegally.
The law was supposed to go into effect on March 5th, but had been on hold while being challenged by the Justice Department. The law has raised many concerns for increased racial profiling within the state. Turning to Wendy's, a Wendy's manager was charged after she allegedly created a ghost employee in a plan to steal over $20,000. Manager Linda Johnson created an employee under the name William Bright in order to steal wages. Johnson manually logged 128 shifts over the span of a year to the Wendy's location in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Lancaster Online reported that this was a task only the general manager could perform.
Coming up, I'll have your full 5-day forecast. You don't want to miss it.
Women are bad with money.
It's what the world's been saying for centuries. But now,
we've got something to say. Save it. Save the old-fashioned advice, the empty excuses.
It's all worthless. Unlike us.
To our fellow females, it is time to save ourselves by saving our money.
Contributing to our futures, investing in our independence.
Until we're no longer 80%
more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement. So again, we say to that, save it. The falsehoods, the feelings of fault, then the funds. Learn how to save for your retirement at wesaysaveit.org.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. Now let's take a look at your 5-day forecast. Now the snow that was here this morning is continuing into tomorrow. As we can see, Wednesday with a high of 40, low of 23. But luckily that's all the snow we're seeing for a little bit at least. Going into Thursday and Friday, we're just seeing those cloudy skies again with the low to mid 30s. So again, not those spring break temperatures, but at least we're seeing no snow. Now on Saturday, we will see the snow return with a wintry mix. So you'll see some rain, you'll see some snow with those cold temperatures of again with a high of 41, low of 23. And Sunday, the sun is finally coming out. So if we look into right now, we're seeing that the snow is moving out through tonight and we're getting about ½ an inch to an inch. So nothing crazy, but you are still seeing that snowfall in this region. That's all I have for right now. Guys, back to you.
Kaitlin, thank you. I mean, it looks like we're trending in the right direction, so that's good. But now let's turn to a health alert. Positive results from the COVID vaccine. A new study from the British Medical Journal shows those vaccinated cut the risk of heart failure by more than 50% and blood clots from almost 80%. The positive health effects last for up to a year and are more prominent right after vaccination.
The study was done amidst concerns that the COVID vaccine increases the risk of minor heart attacks and related conditions. We now know for sure that you are more likely to experience these things as a result of the actual virus.
Players departing, players getting ready for the biggest games of their lives, and players visiting the beach? Yeah, you heard that right. All the latest updates surrounding SU athletics after the break.
Welcome to my house. Lately, not my happy place. Everybody's pretty tired of each other. The parents were not themselves. My little brothers were morphing into small creatures. The walls were closing in. Clearly, a case of too much family, too close, 24/7. And there's a lot of that going around right now. If this sounds like your house, try going someplace new. YourLifeYourVoice.org. You'll find lots of ideas to help you handle the family stresses of being confined to close quarters. YourLifeYourVoice.org. It might not get you out of the house, but it could help you find a little more breathing room.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Well, we're barely a day into the transfer portal period, and boy, has Syracuse men's basketball already been dealt a few big blows. Welcome into sports. I'm Liam Griffin. Guards Justin Taylor and Quadir Copeland have both announced their intentions to leave the Orange and play the rest of their college careers elsewhere. Taylor was one of just 3 SU players to start all 32 contests this season and averaged 5 points and 4 rebounds. Copeland slotted into Syracuse's 6th-man role, scoring nearly 10 a game and racking up over 7 boards per contest. More players could decide to leave the program in the coming days as well. So, Syracuse will have a lot of talent to replace when the 2024-25 season comes around. Replacing talent, that's something Syracuse women's basketball doesn't have to worry about yet because it's getting ready for the NCAA tournament. 64 of the teams headed to the big dance know who their first matchup is going to be against. The 6th-seeded Orange are one of the 4 who don't have that luxury. They have to wait until Thursday to find out who their opponent is. It's either going to be Auburn or Arizona, but SU forward Kyra Wood isn't exactly worried about who SU is going to match up with.
We're just ready for anybody. Whoever we were talking about it, whoever we go up against, we're going to give it our all. We're going to push for what we think we want to get to, which is the national championship. So we will take whatever we get, whatever we draw.
A national championship is a ways away for Wood and the Orange, but their journey will start on Saturday against one of Auburn or Arizona. Regardless of the opponent, Syracuse and newly named third-team All-American Deasia Fair will tip off at 3:30 from Campbell Pavilion in Storrs, Connecticut. Our women's basketball beat reporter Andrew Della Piana has all your coverage of the matchup. You can follow him at Deli_5 on X. Moving to the turf, 7th-ranked Syracuse women's lacrosse steamrolled UAlbany earlier this afternoon, 22-11. The Orange jumped out to a 6-2 lead after the first quarter and held a 12-5 advantage over the Great Danes at halftime, and they never looked back. 8 different players found the back of the net for SU as it beat UAlbany for the 17th time in as many meetings. Syracuse is back in action at noon on Saturday when it pays a visit to number 9 Virginia. But you don't have to wait that long for your Syracuse lacrosse fill. The 6th-ranked men's squad is back in the Dome for the first time in 2.5 weeks tomorrow. Last week was spring break for Syracuse University, and the team took advantage of it by spending time away from Central New York. The Orange played in Charlotte on March 9th and outside D.C. on March 16th. Sandwiched between the two victories were team bonding activities, including time at the beach, mini golf, and a visit to the NASCAR Hall of Fame. It's a pretty good vacation if I say so myself. At the end of it all, SU goalie and recently named ACC Defensive Player of the Week, Will Mark, was very thankful for that experience.
You know, I can't really ask for anything better, and I'm grateful to the staff and, you know, everyone involved with the trip and everything for putting it together. But, you know, like I said, I couldn't dream of anything different, and it was one of the best, you know, lacrosse experiences that I've ever had.
That trip certainly seemed like a great experience, but you know what else is pretty fun? Beating a top 5 foe in your conference. And that's something Syracuse has an opportunity to do when 4th-ranked Duke comes to the Dome tomorrow night. Face-off in that one is scheduled for 7.
Well, Liam, I'm looking at my phone right now. I've got 2 tournament brackets that I need to fill out. Usually I go through it and I just do what I want. Give me an upset. I want to win this.
All right, so March Madness does tip off tonight with the first 4 games in Dayton, Ohio. I think McNeese State, the Cowboys, a 12-5 matchup, take them over Gonzaga. They're very
that's an upset.
Very well coached with Will Wade, have the highest scoring margin of any team in the NCAA tournament field. I think you can count on the Cowboys to knock off the Bulldogs.
I'll throw them in there.
Well, Liam, thank you. You know, as much as I want to hear all about March Madness, we got to get to your wake-up weather coming up after the break.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. Let's take one last look at your wake-up weather. So tomorrow when you wake up, it's going to be 34 degrees, and again, that snow is going to continue. So let's look at what you can do on your Wednesday snowy day. Definitely grab your heavy coat. You can spend your day in Bird doing your homework. I know that's where I'll be all day tomorrow. Or you can make it a nice movie night or movie day, and you can reminisce on your spring break weather. I know that is what I'm going to be doing. I was really enjoying the warm weather, but that is not the case here. I mean, we're seeing the snow and just not those spring temperatures. Guys, what about you? Missing the warmth?
Yeah, the fun's over, right? No, I was talking to my friend walking to class. I'm like, weren't we just walking the other day in 80-degree weather up the 18th hole of a golf course, and now we're here? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
You know. Well, hey, St. Patrick's Day was Sunday, so if you're still feeling a little lucky, take a look at this. The Powerball jackpot has risen to $687 million. And then there's Mega Millions. Look at that. $893 million. So, hey, if we want to take home the big money, I know I want to get lucky for March Madness, but I could just get lucky now and become a millionaire, right?
Wouldn't that be something? It's a pretty hard thing to choose, winning Mega Millions or picking a perfect bracket.
All right, so what would you do if you won the lottery?
What would I do? I would book and I would ship myself off to some warm country, you know what I mean? We were just talking about it.
Yeah.
It may as well just, if I had got that money, I'm in Fiji tomorrow.
Beautiful.
Tonight.
Yeah, me too. I would go to Fiji, Italy, just to explore Europe, I think.
Yeah, maybe start with Red Sox.
Yeah, I was going to say, tickets on the Green Monster would be something else.
Yeah, that's not too shabby. I think I would take my spring break plans and whatnot, and I would make that the rest of my life, right?
Exactly.
Just retire now.
Yeah,
Head to Miami Plus.
Retiring young, right?
I know, right? Yeah. Well, that's all the time we have for you today here on Citrus TV News Live at 6.
Don't forget you can follow us on X and Instagram at CitrusTV News. For the entire CitrusTV News team, I'm Olivia Maniscalco.
And I'm John Perik. Take care, Syracuse.